Once upon a time, in a quiet little village surrounded by green hills, lived two close friends named Ron and John who were always dreaming of adventures far beyond their home. They shared everything: food, laughter, and even their secrets, and people in the village often said that nothing could ever break their bond. One sunny morning, Ron's eyes sparkled with excitement as he said, "John, why don't we explore the world? Let's start with that mysterious forest we see every day." John hesitated for a moment, staring at the dark woods in the distance, but his love for adventure was stronger than his fear, so he nodded and agreed. They packed some bread, fruit, and water, and promised each other that no matter what happened inside that forest, they would face everything together. As they entered the forest, sunlight slowly disappeared behind thick branches, and the air became cool and filled with the smell of moss and wildflowers. Birds sang softly in the distance, and every sound echoed strangely, making both of them realize that the forest was much larger and darker than they thought. Ron tried to sound brave, saying, "Don't worry, John, we'll be fine," but deep down, his heart was already beating faster with every step. Suddenly, a deep, terrifying growl filled the air so loud and close that they stopped breathing for a second and looked around in panic. From behind the bushes, a huge brown bear appeared, its fur shining under the sunlight that barely reached through the trees, and its eyes glowing fiercely. The bear growled again and started walking toward them, slow but powerful, shaking the ground with each heavy step. Ron screamed, "Run!" and without thinking twice, he sprinted toward a nearby tree and began climbing as fast as his legs could carry him. John followed him but was slower. He had never climbed a tree before and didn't even know where to put his hands or feet. "Ron, please, help me climb. The bear is coming," John shouted desperately, looking up at his friend with fear in his eyes. But Ron, already sitting on a thick branch, looked down nervously and said, "I can't come down now. The bear will catch us both. Find a place to hide," he yelled again, pretending not to hear the pain in John's voice, while the growl grew louder and closer. John looked around quickly, realizing there was no cave, no hole, nowhere to run, only open ground and the bear just a few steps away. Then he suddenly remembered something his old teacher once said in school: "A bear never attacks a dead body. It only eats living prey." That memory gave him an idea, his only chance to survive, and he immediately lay flat on the ground, closing his eyes and holding his breath. The bear came closer and closer until John could hear its breathing and feel its warm air brushing against his ear. The massive animal sniffed his hair, his face, his arms, and even pushed him slightly with its nose to check if he was truly dead. John stayed perfectly still, his heart pounding like a drum, praying silently that his plan would work and that the bear would go away soon. After a few tense seconds that felt like forever, the bear turned around slowly and walked away into the shadows of the forest. Only when the sound of its footsteps disappeared completely did John dare to open his eyes and take a deep breath of relief. Up in the tree, Ron was still shaking, but once he realized the danger had passed, he climbed down carefully, pretending to be calm. He smiled nervously and said, "That was close. You are lucky the bear didn't eat you. What did it whisper in your ear, by the way?" John stood up slowly, brushed the dust off his clothes, and looked at Ron with calm but disappointed eyes. "The bear told me," he said softly, "never to trust a friend who leaves you when you need him the most." Ron's smile disappeared instantly, and shame filled his heart as he realized how selfish he had been in that terrifying moment. John turned around and started walking out of the forest without saying another word, leaving Ron standing alone under the tall trees. The journey that began with laughter and excitement ended in silence and regret, teaching a lesson that Ron would never forget. True friendship, John thought, is not proven in happy times, it is tested when fear and danger knock at your door. And from that day on, he promised himself to trust actions, not words, when it came to friendship and loyalty. Meanwhile, Ron watched his best friend disappear between the trees, knowing that something precious had been lost forever. The forest returned to its quiet whispers, as if keeping the secret of what had happened between the two boys that day. And if you ever walk through that same forest, you might still hear the wind softly saying, "A true friend never runs away." The end.